But on with Newswatch. And the big news today in the media is that the Morrison government seems to have won its battle with Facebook, which you'll recall last week stripped all Australian news from its pages rather than pay news organisations here for that news that it was pinching, pay them as the government insists it must, or else. But this afternoon, the government announced that Facebook has buckled. It intends to restore Australian news pages in the coming days. Joining me on Newswatch is Jack Houghton, Digital Editor here on Sky News. Jack, this seems to be a very big win for the government. What do you think would have made Facebook give in?
Yeah, absolutely massive win. And I think the main thing that has maybe made Facebook change its mind is it's demonstrated that there is actually mutual benefit to be drawn from having news on their platform. You might remember that they went before this committee and they actually argued that there was no value. There was no commercial benefit for having news at all. A couple of days in, there's no wonder that they're actually turning around on that, because if you look at the biggest posts on the platform now, in the middle of all this misinformation, it's actually the Batuta Advocate coming down, and the Chaser as well, I think, are in the top 10 list. So now you've got Facebook is being dominated by literal fake news and misinformation parody sites. There's the absence of news right in the middle of a pandemic. They've got to be thinking, this is no way that we should have been running a platform. And it really demonstrates that there is a benefit to having news on Facebook. And Sky News actually has built itself up to be the #1 biggest news publisher on the platform. So we can say with some authority that there are people out there that are crying out for this information, that are crying out for this news. And all they've done in the middle of the pandemic is taken that away and given them the Batuta Advocate. It's rather funny.
Well, the Batuta Advocate is a sleaze sheet, but anyway, never mind that, as well as trying to be funny. I don't appreciate, I think, being called a pedophile, but that's just me. Jack, I noticed that very subtle little plug you gave for the work that you do. Well done, I say. Here, by the way, is the Treasurer, I think justifiably, boasting about the deal that is just struck after, I think, 3 conversations with Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook today.
Well, Facebook has refriended Australia, and Australian news will be restored to the Facebook platform. And Facebook has committed to entering into good faith negotiations with Australian news media businesses in seeking to reach agreements to pay for content.
I must say, Frydenberg is doing better and better and better as a Treasurer. I think he's one of the stars of this government. And I don't just say that because I like him. I think it's the case.